Good morning. It is me, Pearl, from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned in Tarot. And we're here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energy inside of ourselves, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others and in our external environment. And if we want to see changes, we do need to shift and make changes within ourselves. We have to shift our perspective. We have to find the places where we intersect with each other's wounds and triggers and all that kind of good stuff. So we're going to do that, especially today, because today is the release and rebuild spread, which I am starting extremely late. But that's because I changed my behavior today and took care of myself. I had food. I walked the dog 2 times. I got all the things I needed to get done. And now I can be relaxed and also not hungry. That's a great idea, right? So, okay. I should probably just get up a little touch earlier, but it's fine because it's 10:55 now and we're ready to go. So, whatever brought you here to this reading today, hold that in your mind for a moment. It is the thing that would make you feel better if it happened. If you heard this specific message, you would just feel so great and you'd be able to have this the best day of your life. Just think of whatever that thing is right now. That's what you think you need. And this is what you actually need. So when you step away from these messages today, these are the things. Oh my gosh. If you were at the Tell Me Everything spread yesterday, then you should already be keeping these things in mind. These are still the things you need to hold today. Queen of Wands and generosity. And look how much this looks like a Queen of Wands here in this card as well. She's even holding on to a wand. Very interesting synchronicity there. This says, you can afford to be generous with the gift of your time and attention. So I don't know what you thought you needed, but you're being told that you need to be generous with the time of your gift and with the gift of your time and attention. Wow, today's going to be a long day, I can already tell. The Queen of Wands is an energy of confidence. She's visionary. She is spiritual, magnetic, attractive, fiery, captivating. We're seeing in this card also generous natured. And she is the card that represents Leo energy. And Leo energy is very generous. So I feel like this is this time to be bold, to be in your strength, to embody the traits of this confident, visionary queen. I like that. All right. So we're going to release something and rebuild something, and it's going to give us this confidence and the ability to be generous with our time and our attention. And I think also experience others who are generous with their time and their attention because we are so attractive, right? Okay, great. So before we get into the release part, which we're going to start with the feminine side of self, just let me remind you that the feminine and the masculine is present within each person. So the person that you might want information about is going to be composed of both energies, and so are you. So both sides are valuable, and there is no reason to devalue one perspective or to value one more over another. That being said, I have a little side note, which is that I booked a show. So I booked actually 2 shows. One I don't have a date for yet, but it's going to be in April. The other is for May 11th. And I'm just going to keep booking shows. So I did my homework. I don't know if any of you others of you have done your homework, but this right here, being generous with my time and attention, fully embodying the Queen of Wands, that's why I booked a show. So I feel good about that. And I just wanted to mention that if you're in the Los Angeles area for the next few months, you can catch me live playing and singing. Stay tuned. Go to pearlsprayers.com, the link's below, to follow all of the news about that. I will be updating the tour page soon enough. If I can get this stinking bands thing to work. I don't know. There's some weird thing I have to fix over there. But soon the tour page will say the things it needs to say. But definitely click the links below. please book a personal reading. I am hurting financially today. So if you could please help a sister out, click support, donate any amount would really be helpful. Any amount at this point would be really very helpful. January was rough and I wasn't prepared for that as a small business owner. I will be next year, but I was not this year. And so I really do need those bookings to come in and support. So go and do all those nice, kind things. Thank you so very much. And now I'm going to turn right directly to the reading with the feminine side of self and the general energy surrounding what she needs to release. So this isn't what she does need to release per se, but this is just how she is thinking and feeling in general. We're using the Mystical Moments Tarot, of course, in the headspace. And we are going to use today Vice Versa Tarot, which is an oldie but a goodie. And so we're getting these two sides to every card kind of a thing. But this is the front that we're looking at. And here we go with 4-4 right out the gate on the 4th. So we've got the 4 of Cups in reverse in the headspace, and the 4 of Swords in reverse in the heart space. So these both have pretty significant energy, so let's take them one at a time. Okay, here we have the feminine. Underneath the umbrella provided by this lovely little bird here. I don't know what type of a bird that is. And there's this fog all around, and this umbrella is protecting from the fog that's all around, but it's causing a darker space. It almost looks like the rain is falling from the umbrella, but not falling all around her. It's kind of an interesting and beautiful card. The 4 of Cups is about meditation, contemplation. It's about not receiving an offer or not accepting an offer, rather, not noticing the offers that are being made by the universe. It's about fantasy and it's about dreams and about being grounded or ungrounded, kind of floating off into the kind of an energy in this card. And so this is what's in reverse in our headspace. So we're getting this sense of this, whatever she needs to release right now is this maybe looking too much at reality is playing a part in it, because this is kind of the feeling I'm getting from this card. It's like, you know, like I started looking at like jobs, like regular jobs. That's rare for me, but I'm like, I don't know. I need financial consistency. I can't live like this. That kind of a thing where she's having a hard time believing in her dreams right now. And that's being backed up by the feeling in the heart space, which is the 4 of Swords. In this deck, we see two sides. Either we see this side here where we're reflecting upon this king who is in silence and contemplation. Again, another contemplative type of an energy and a head bowed kind of an energy, masculine and feminine, both sides of self. And then here we have this person that's sleeping while all these fires are burning. Okay. So there's all these, you know, potential threats outside, and there's just a sleeping here because this is like not being awakened to reality, not being awakened to what's going on in the outside world. And the but also it's a card about having faith and resting and like just needing to rest. But the divine feminine is in the reverse on this energy. So first of all, I think there's going to be a turnaround coming where she's going to be able to rest on her dreams very soon, the dreams that she's built. She's going to be able to do this, okay? But there is a feeling right now that that's not happening yet. And so it's this push-pull of like, do I need to face reality? Do I need to wake up and face reality of like, these things not working out the way I wanted it to, or this person that I was focused on not being the person I should be focused on. And this is also maybe hearing some communication of some kind and it bringing her like to reality, finding out some information that was hidden or kept buried. And now that's come to light and it's ruined her dreams or darkened her dreams. because this is a collective reading, there's probably a few different layers there. But there's a, wake up and face reality kind of thing going on for the feminine in the general energy. That's the discomfort she's having. The hidden assistance is the Seven of Cups in the head space and the Lovers in the heart space. Now, we could see the Lovers in the light like this, or we can see the Lovers in the darkness, kept hidden and secret, and part of an ethereal sort of bond rather than one that's in the daylight, okay? But we're seeing this side today. So the hidden assistance for this divine feminine has been something about her confusion about which option to choose in terms of something that she loves or someone that she loves. In a collective reading, if you're here about a person, it could be that there's an uncertainty about who her partner should be, or there are multiple options for partners. If you're here about a career, it's not having clarity yet about how to do what you love to do. This has been somewhat of an assistance because you have a lot of different options. So this holding space of just not really being quite certain yet, it's actually benefiting you because it's helping you hone in and seek clarity about what will truly make you feel fulfilled within yourself. What you're starting to understand is about the connection with this divine energy, and your devotion to the divine rather than to the material, which is an external person or an external material outcome. But it's giving you, so the delay that you've experienced in being able to make the right choice or see all the options is that you're gaining this clarity you need about what is most important to you. It can also be about not choosing other lovers at this point in time as well, not making a decision to have other partners. Like you have the option to have other partners, but you have not chosen that yet. You have, because you're still awaiting this clarity about who to choose or how or what you want in your life, etc. So here is what past experience you actually need to release. Here in the headspace is the World, and in the heart space is the Magician upright. Okay. Like, okay. This is basically, manifesting our world. So there's something here about the world is about cycles ending, seasons. It is about completing something. In this image, we have a feminine who she's got like these planets, like she's become part of the, I can't think of what that's called, the model of, I'm thinking of every word having to do with space except for what it's called when it's like a mobile, but there's like a name for that. But a model of the universe. It's like she's actually moving the planets in their satellites around her. Like, but it's her that's physically doing the movement here. So she needs to release this. It's control. It's control, because I think that there is a masculine energy within the self that has been controlling over the feminine. And it's been deceptive because it was really like a material based energy, like I'm sorry, this is a complex thing to explain. The things that the divine feminine was interested in manifesting were primarily material, but that's out of balance for the feminine. Most of the time, the masculine energy is fixated on material manifestation, and the feminine energy is fixated on spiritual and emotional manifestation. But this feminine has been trying to move the material. She's been trying to move the clay. Now, if this was in reverse, I was saying she's ending, like having to release cycles of not co-creating with spirit, but she is actually manifesting. But I think what she has been trying to manifest has been primarily of this world and fixated on the 3D. Like, when she's doing spell work or she's doing affirmation work or, ritual practice or whatever, there has been a fixation on the material still, which is suggesting that the ego is still running the show. And as elevated as this feminine has become, as many cycles as this feminine has closed out, and as powerful as she has become, there is still this power that masculine / the material has over her, that she has been in the process of ending, but she needs to fully release the power the masculine has over her world. This is definitely a collective energy. This is like the patriarchy dominating even within the feminine herself. What can I do right now to soothe myself? Judgment in the headspace and the 6 of Swords in the heart space. And in this 6 of Swords, we could have seen this side, which is more traditional, where we're watching the masculine and feminine, although in this deck they keep it relatively androgynous, but we're watching them go away, cross to another shore. But in this case, we're seeing where they're coming from. So I love this because this is coming out with this feeling of, this is a soothing energy to soothe yourself as you release this very deeply ingrained belief that the masculine or the material has over you, the power that the masculine or material has over you. As you release this, you can soothe yourself by not judging yourself for where you are because of where you've been, right? You're coming from this darkness and you're only now going towards the light. There is also this element here of positive karma that comes from the Judgment card, which is you were not doing anything wrong. You were just, you were doing what you needed to do to understand your power. But now it's time to move on from this kind of petty fixation to higher things, to higher consciousness, which is more peaceful and less tumultuous. And you're moving away from this time of wounding the self that requires so much forgiveness. What can I expect to encounter as I make space for new energy? Wow. The Devil in reverse in the headspace and the Moon in the heart space. So this is really lovely energy. So the healing will begin in regarding specifically subconscious programming with specific focus on codependency, limiting beliefs about relationship, and the necessity of masculine and feminine external representation in order for the internal world to be at peace. This is a pretty complex and deep release. This is not it's interesting because for me, this is the culmination of the Venus and Mercury in retrogrades ending. The direct Venus and Mercury both going direct really has given us this deep inner healing that we're now able to achieve so that we can establish those good, solid connections in our friendships, in our relationships going forward. So if there was a person that you associated with this power over you, that person you have accepted as having learned some kind of a karmic lesson from them. Karmic lesson being somewhat like saying ramen noodle, but because karma itself is lessons, but that individual who had any sort of control or power over you, over your psyche, over your subconscious, you're releasing that hold. If you had any kind of attachments, I mean, for those of you who believe in demonic attachments or just dark or negative attachments, releasing those things, because those things were maybe the things that were whispering to keep you focused on the material and the person that was darker or pulling you away from your light, so to speak. But you're looking at releasing this and making space for your dreams, your deeply embedded dreams. Remember, because this is what you're seeking clarity about, is how to really achieve these dreams that you are having. So it's like finally getting rid of the toxicity from those dreams and having them be a lot more illuminated in the light. What behaviors have gotten in my way? Injustice and the Three of Swords in reverse. This is really this is almost like being really afraid to face separation from a karmic attachment, right? Because this is what we make room for. We release this karmic attachment and then we make room for this enlightenment that has to do with our own dreams and not so much being bound to someone else's or bound to another or having a third party outside of ourselves bound to our happiness, okay? This is also a fixation on the scales being balanced. So your problem with this is the material. So you are focused on material manifestation of your desires, which means if you are very specific, you want this person or this opportunity to respond in a precise way. And it's like demanding quid pro quo. It's like, well, if I initiate conversation via this platform, then this person should do the same thing, without really acknowledging that that is somewhat delusional, because that is suggesting that all the people around you are going to adjust to your sense of balance, which is really not how it works. It's also interesting that you're demanding that someone else give you this attention, time and attention, right? We know that that's what we're learning from this reading. So you're demanding a certain amount of time and attention, and then not acknowledging how that person may express those things. And then also not giving yourself the time and attention that you're demanding someone else give you. So it's like you're being like, listen, I need you to show up more. I need you to be more present when you're here. I need you to communicate with me about your feelings. And then when there's no one around and it's just you, you're doing everything you can to distract yourself and not be present alone with yourself. You're not being honest about your own feelings in the moment. You're hiding them, numbing them, pushing them down, purposefully distracting yourself from the experience of them. So you're really demanding from these other people in your lives that they treat you, with respect and treat you fairly, which is absolutely, suitable to require. And yet your commitment to meeting your own needs, not always there, right? In fact, it's a lot easier to be concerned about whether or not someone's going to come in and be your romantic partner than it is to actually go and nourish yourself. Make sure you've had food and written in your journal and done some exercise and taken care of your needs before you go to take care of everyone else's. So this has gotten in your way. What can I do now to avoid this? I really can't make these readings up. This is my favorite card. The Emperor, the masculine, the male Emperor, because there's a male and female version of each one of these cards in this deck. This male Emperor is in reverse. This is the demon of control, which we just saw was what you need to release. This attachment of trying to control everything in the world. You're trying to control everything in the world, including how your person loves you. And then you're like, why don't they want to come and be with me? I mean, imagine what it is like to be forced to love someone in a specific way in order for them to feel loved. That's probably pretty difficult, right? So releasing this demon of control over masculine energy. And if there's a specific person that you have been focused on and you've been telling yourself, oh, this is my DM, and so they can just treat me like shit and I'll keep loving them forever. That's this guy. The distorted energy. Release. And then here we have the 9 of Wands, and we're seeing the side. It's looking to be like this, I think, right? Wait, the card is like this and like this. I don't remember now. I think I was looking at this side, yes. Okay, so it's like this. So this and this. Okay. You've got the 9 of Wands, and we're looking at the masculine, which is like this broken down soldier energy. And then we're seeing this Ace of Swords in reverse. This is not being honest with yourself. And so this position is, what can I do now to avoid this? So it's no longer lying to yourself about the type of masculine energy that you tend to focus on. You choose wounded soldiers so you can have control. Because it puts you into this caregiver role, right? You become necessary. You become valuable. You have a purpose. If your person is not distorted, if your person takes care of themselves, if your person feels good about themselves, feels like they have everything under control, feels like, they're able to command empires and be ambitious, and they have drive, and they also can balance that with their home and their family and their life. What do they need you for? You're a healer. You have to heal everyone. I think we found the point of intersection masculine and feminine have when it comes to the rhetoric we tell each other about taking care of one another, right? The old story being the masculine provides the house and the shelter and the stuff and the money and the material. And the feminine provides the emotional processing and the healing and the nurturing environment. Okay. Well, that's true, but that happens within yourself. And then you have a balance. And so then there's no sense that there's one person that can't survive without the other. But you've purposefully been choosing people that have a deep need for emotional processing so that you can feel you have value or purpose for them. But your value and purpose is inherent without another person. So no longer lying to yourself about what type of energy you choose and why. This is really going to help avoid this kind of stuff. Karmic cycles, karmic partners that, leave you wounded. You're not going to be choosing that because you will have learned the lesson that when you choose somebody to be at your side, you want to choose someone who is capable of caring for themselves without having to rely on you. And that's not all the time, every second of the day, but it's the majority of the time, right? It's the majority of the time. What is growing within me or within this connection as I move on? The King of Pentacles upright. I keep doing this. Gosh darn it. I keep doing this. I can't tell which side it is. I guess it doesn't matter. The King of Pentacles upright and the Eight of Cups in reverse. And it's this inner child here that's just sitting there and refusing to move away from the toxic energy. Oh, as soon as you release this controlling energy, whatever it is, this manipulative, controlling, and this karmic cycle of manipulation and control, which is reflected back to you in some of the distorted partners you have chosen. As soon as you fully release that, you will no longer be sitting there in this childish manner waiting for this energy to change. You will, in fact, see this energy show up because you will have embodied this energy within yourself by no longer being like this, forgotten, lost, abandoned, wounded inner child. Instead of abandoning that inner child, you're going to go to that inner child. You're going to nurture that inner child. You're going to protect it. You're going to provide for it. You're going to do everything you can. I recognize that in my situation, when my ex-partner, who's very controlling, when my marriage ended, that person used the court system and money to try to diminish me and to control me, where I lived and my ability to care for my child. And that wound has made it very difficult for me to believe in myself fully. I didn't believe in myself then, which is why he showed me that wound, right? And then that wound has been one of the hardest things to heal from my childhood. This feeling that I couldn't care for myself or others. I just thought of my mother being very upset with me when I was little and yelling at me that I was a selfish brat, which I've never called my own child ever, have never called my own child that. And I remember one time telling my therapist years ago when I had one that I would be called a brat or a spoiled brat. And my therapist pointed out, well, that's interesting because a child can't spoil themselves or turn themselves into a selfish brat or any of those things. So it's interesting that the insults that you received were actually insults that were immediately projected back on the parent, because it was suggested that the parenting was somehow deficient to create a child who was so ungrateful, selfish, bratty, etc. those wounds are powerful, right? So there was this narrative set up by my mother that I had to be taken care of. I was not able to take care of myself, and that I was completely selfish in that path. And so if my mother was wrong about that, then I didn't know love. And this child has to embrace that. And this child also has to embrace that my father did not protect me from that wounding. So if I accept that intellectually as an adult, that's one thing. But the child mind within me that received the wound has to understand that concept in order to heal. Once I have healed that, then I won't have issues with finances anymore because I will believe that I can take care of myself. I didn't get a dog for a long time because I was afraid I couldn't take care of my dog. And I just said today, when I basically agreed to move into an apartment that costs much more than I pay now, that when I took on the obligation of the dog, I was like, I will be able to pay for her food. And so far, every time I have needed to buy food for my dog, I can buy food for my dog. So I'm going to use that same logic going forward into the next thing. I am making an agreement to move into this next apartment, and I will be able to cover the cost of it. That's insisting upon a new level of maturity that this child never learned she could accomplish because she was diminished into believing that she was a spoiled child, when in fact, I really was not. I had a pretty normal life as a child. I was not extraordinarily spoiled. I didn't command people to do things for me by any means. I had, in fact, an extremely controlling parent. So it would have been very difficult for me to have been the one making the demands. But there is an imbalance that has grown inside of me from that. And so I can see that I have to release the effects of this controlling energy in my life, which has then caused me to carry this demon of control. I hope that it helps you when I bring in my own experiences to illustrate what the deeper meanings, how the deeper meanings apply to everyday life. I am pretty interested in myself as a complete and total entertainer and narcissist to a certain extent. So I love to talk about myself, but I genuinely hope that it does provide you with perspective on how this applies. It's the best way I know to illustrate it. Okay, let's now rebuild from this point of releasing this demon of control, which both you and your person have. Coming from a need, and it makes perfect sense because in an environment that is unpredictable and unstable, like I grew up in to a certain extent, and almost everybody grew up in, there is the only defense against that is to either completely flow and be super predictable and unstable yourself, or to be completely controlling of your environment. And I'm somewhere in between. So there's even a chance to develop an overactive, like out of control and controlling behaviors together. 11:33 on the clock. Okay, let's continue. The energy surrounding what needs to be rebuilt is the Knight of Pentacles energy in the Dreaming Way Tarot, which is a gift from Katie in the headspace, and the Ace of Cups. There we go. Don't know why I couldn't think of that. In the heart space from the Rachel True Heart Intuitive Tarot. And I love this because what we're seeing the masculine energy realize is slow and steady, making moves, motion towards this expression of feelings, towards new love, right? New levels of self-care, new connection with the divine. There's a few different things that you can draw from this. But what's very interesting is the masculine has to learn to rebuild, because the masculine, just like the feminine's demon of control, is what has caused him to move so slowly or to be withholding in general. So we must rebuild from this withholding energy into one that is less about being so precise and being a perfectionist, which came up a lot in yesterday's Tell Me Everything spread, which was available to members only. The links for all of that and the information for all of that is below, but it's only $3.33 to join. So if you want to go catch those readings, you can see yesterday's reading, which talked a lot about perfectionism and actually had the magician in it a lot in reverse. And so it's interesting to see it here again today. But the perfectionism that is preventing the masculine from expressing how he feels is this like feeling like there isn't, like he wants to say the perfect words. He's also coming in on this dark horse. And so there's a sense there that he's not been a complete saint. Like, you know, the expression of what he has to say is also being colored by his past, so to speak. His hidden assistance is this Two of Cups in reverse and the Five of Wands in reverse. So there's been some kind of a release of a past relationship, somebody he was entangled with. It could have either been a karmic partner, a wife, or a mother figure who had a lot of influence or control, or it could be the maternal energy from the past, the wounds, his fears about divine feminine preventing him from going forward. But he cleaned up karmic messes, he released old attachments, and he's also put an ending to the struggle he has had, where the feminine has been giving and giving and giving. Look at all the flowers here in her communication, all this love here. And then the receiving communication or the resulting communication that has been offered is just this, it pales in comparison to all of this love that's coming from the divine feminine. So it's unblocking communication and acknowledging the imbalance that had existed there. And this is going to help to rebuild the masculine's chances in regards of bringing in this offer of love. So what past experience challenges me in the rebuilding process? Oh my God, I thought it was the same and I was going to die, but it's pretty damn close. We've got Justice upright and the Three of Wands in reverse. And it's just interesting because when we asked what behaviors had gotten in the feminine's way, we got Justice and the Three of Swords in reverse. This is very similar looking, right? So the separation for the divine feminine and how unfair it is, it's interesting because what we're seeing, what challenges masculine in bringing in that offer is that the feminine felt that this time that she had to wait for the masculine to release karmic attachments and clean up his mess was pretty unfair. Okay, so he's acknowledging that it took some time to clean up this karma of his, and that the feminine's got that sword there of the truth of what he was doing. She knows what he was doing, so she already knows that he's been a bad boy, in other words. And she's holding the scales, which is like, all right, you know, to balance the scales between us, you got a lot of ground to cover because I've been expressing a lot of love to you for a minute, and I've waited quite a long time to hear it's equal return to me. And you might feel that, but I ain't heard it. So that really does challenge the masculine energy in the rebuilding. What can I do right now to build my confidence? We are getting the Nine of Cups in reverse and the Two of Swords. Make a decision to fully express and to share everything that you have in your cups. No matter how modest you may feel it is, if that is what your problem is, just express and no longer hoard those things. But staying in the standstill is preventing your wish fulfillment. So if you want to break through that, the barriers, the block that the feminine has put up against you because of her blind justice, first of all, hopefully she watches my readings and she realized that this has gotten in her way, being very, very rigid and about, and about the third party stuff that has happened. That has been something that's gotten in her way when she knows damn well what kind of energy that she chose and what sort of stuff they needed to clean up before they could make their way towards her. She's got to come to terms with that and release her judgment over it. But coming clean and communicating with her about your feelings is one surefire way to get past that barrier of taking too long to tell her what she's been waiting so long to hear. What possible future challenges could arise? The Wheel of Fortune upright in the headspace and the Sun. Timing, just general timing issues, but being focused on how long it's taking to be happy. Look at how she's focused on how the wheel is not moving. So this could potentially challenge the masculine, the feminine being focused on how long it has taken for him to change so that they could experience their happiness together. And when I say change, I mean change his mind, because no one changes all that significantly. They just learn how to shift their energy towards their desire. For instance, if you're a very anxious person, you're not likely going to stop being a very anxious person, but you can turn anxiousness into excitement for something. You can go into the feelings of excitement, anticipation, giddiness, looking forward to something versus dreading it, worrying about it, being anxious, being scared. So you're still kind of a person that has like this kind of a personality, but it's much more in the lighter side than it is being broody down in the darkness. So you technically, your persona does seem to change, but the energy that you have that's inherently yours, it's always your energy. You've just learned to shift with it. Okay, that's how that works. So, what past behavior? No, yes. What past behaviors have destabilized me? Oh my God. The Knight of Wands in reverse, the Ace of Wands in reverse, and the Ace of Pentacles. What has destabilized this masculine has been inconsistent, ineffective, inefficient, love bombing type of communication, and also errant sexual energy, multiple partners, player energy, etc., with other people, while withholding sexual energy from the feminine who he intended to give this offer to. So this is being sexy with everybody else, but never actually giving the material offer to anyone. Not just the divine feminine, but to anyone, withholding this offer for himself. What can I do now to avoid this and stabilize? Oh my God. King of Cups in reverse and the Four of Pentacles upright, which is literally to stabilize. So releasing this is literally right underneath the Nine of Cups in reverse, and both these cards virtually have the same meaning, and that you have this individual that has all this good stuff but doesn't express it or share it. And so what will help avoid this kind of love bombing, withholding bullshit is if you just don't do that. If you focus on your solid, stable foundation, transforming that energy, that security, having the security that you need to express yourself, so that the foundation you have isn't about the material. The security you feel it's not about money. It's about feeling secure enough to express the love that you feel. And also really working to stabilize and achieve emotional mastery, because the King of Cups has emotional mastery, even though his shadow is that he doesn't express it. You're going to achieve the balance, which is emotional mastery, secure enough to express, right? And also letting go of the shadow traits of that King of Cups, the avoidance and the withholding that king is notorious for, letting go of that energy completely. What future prospects do I have to look forward to once I rebuild and stabilize? This is the 10 of Cups in reverse and the 9 of Wands in reverse. And what I really see here is the end of isolation, but a deep healing, because we already saw that that's what we can expect from the release. So we will have deeply healed our inner child wounds regarding the family, which is a big, big, big deal. So no wonder this has taken so long, been so difficult, been so fraught with obstacles, been so unwieldy. These are some of the deepest wounds we have to heal. The ones that have kept us from doing so many things in our lives, not just from having this quote unquote perfect relationship or something like this. Very powerful. All right, let's go now to the healing coming from the oracles. I've chosen today one spirit guardian, a spirit animal guardian for everybody, a release, a rebuild, our creativity oracle, and the theme for the week. So that's how we're going to do it. We'll start with the divine feminine side of self, who's releasing that control demon. You are getting the owl spirit card protection message. You see clearly now. And I love that, because your hidden assistance was the lack of clarity. So I think it's interesting to see this card of you see clearly now in reverse. Let's see what your guardian is going to help you do in order to release. Are you feeling overwhelmed and overpowered by all that you are sensing? Are you highly sensitive right now and in information overload, feeling too much and taking in too much stimulation? The antidote for overwhelm is to become grounded and return to your safe nest, so wisdom can offer you clarity and guide you on managing the flow. Take a break to ground yourself in the reality of your everyday senses. Go for a walk in nature. Perhaps you can stop to lie on the ground or hug a tree, or just stroll down the street beneath the soothing sky so that you can regroup and clear your energy field. Your wisdom and ability to make sense of all you are feeling and experiencing will return as Owl Spirit reminds you of your need to get clear. All right, so clarity is called for. And I think it's interesting because it was literally describing these two cards here that were the general energy. So the thing that would really help you right now, Divine Feminine, is getting very grounded in nature and getting very clear about what you want. because you are realizing how much power you have in manifesting what has been somewhat petty up until this point. And when you haven't been able to manifest it, it's because you haven't believed you really deserved it. And you have to kind of work on that programming, which is what you are going to be making space for as you release the control that this one storyline you've been trying to manifest has over you. So you want to have a lot of clarity about what you want your world to look like without this other person or this other specific outcome you had in mind, right? You want to consider all your other options and then be very clear about what direction you want to go in. An owl spirit's going to help you. Maybe do a visualization with an owl or do like a guided meditation. I'm sure there's probably guided owl spirit meditation on YouTube. All right, you are getting a reversal on this card of the balsamic moon, which says a time for healing. So I'm feeling that we are really releasing this idea that we're always having to be in this healing energy constantly. But let's see what this card actually says. This is the thing that we are working on in terms of release. Where is it? Pulling this card suggests that the past is in the past and a bright future is beckoning. However, before you take your next step, make sure that both you and the situation feel healed. This is not the time to paper over cracks or to simply pretend that everything is okay. Rather, you still need a little more time to heal and to soothe both yourself and anyone else in need. Then remind yourself that anything is possible if you believe it. This is also a time to surrender and wait to hear guidance from the universe. Powerful insights can be had. If you know that someone or something really isn't good for you, boom. That's what this card is a reminder, or I'm sorry, I lost my place. It isn't good for you. This card is a reminder to surrender. Start to work on your belief in your dreams so you are ready when the time comes. That's literally your belief in your dreams. We already talked about it. Dang. When one is healed, all are healed. So that's actually a beautiful concept to take and maybe even write down. When one is healed, all are healed. It's time to let go of the past. You are about to turn the corner. You need more time to heal. Think about this situation, how the situation would look if everyone were healed. And that's actually a really good activity to do too, to get clarity. Write down how the situation would look if everyone were healed, if everyone involved, your parents, yourself, your person, their karmic, their family, your family, their, like, write down how everything would look in this idealized, healed environment, because that's giving you an idea of what you want your future to look like. Patience is required at the time of the balsamic moon. It is a time for self-care as you slowly but surely prepare yourself for the new moon, which is just around the corner. No matter which point in the current moon cycle you have pulled this card, it is a reminder to go a little bit easy on yourself. The time to step into your creatrix power will come soon enough. Give yourself the time you need. Now, because this was in reverse, I'm pulling the you need more time to heal thing and chucking that. I think the most important thing is letting go of the past, surrendering someone that isn't good to you, knowing that you're about to turn the corner, and then thinking about how the situation would look if everyone were healed. Those are the main messages I'm pulling from this. This will help you with the release. Now, what will help the feminine rebuild is this card. Do not dim. Don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? So we're going to get the healing for this card as well today. What's it called? Don't dim to fit in. Don't dim your light to accommodate someone else's smallness. We are all born to shine big and bright. The universe is expanding and you are part of the universe, so expanding is part of your nature. If someone makes you want to retract, notice and slowly back away. They are not for you and you are not for them. Better yet, find it within yourself to expand and shine your light anyway. Flowers don't open and close according to who is walking by. They open and show their beauty regardless. If others don't want to be around you or you make them uncomfortable, it's because you are shining light on the fact that they are dimming to fit in. By choosing to shine bright, you may just inspire them to turn on their light too. Or not. Keep your light on anyway. All relationships are essentially an energetic agreement. The moment one person decides to start rising up and allowing their light to shine, it changes the energetic agreement and can create some waves. That's completely normal. The relationships that are meant to last will adapt to the change in energy. Others won't because we're likely born under the proviso of, I love you as long as you don't shine brighter than me. That's okay. Not all people are meant to be in your life forever, but the lessons they teach us can still live on. Wow, Divine Feminine, you're really being called to release a person today. Somebody that you're holding on to that you are dimming your light with in order to fit in. The person who is your person you're never going to feel like you have to dim your light. It's 11:55. They're never going to ask you to hide. They are never going to keep you a secret. They are never going to make you feel when you shine their light that your light is too bright. If your person has done those things to you, they're not your person. They're not. I don't care if you went to a psychic who said that you were going to have 20 kids together. Let them go. I don't want 20 kids with a person who dims my light, and neither do you. If they change and they become a person who allows you to shine, that's another story. But if you're not shining when you're with them right now, let it go. Here is your theme for the week. And this card, actually, I had an interesting time of getting this one card out of the deck. There was a lot of weird stuff that happened, but this was the card that jumped for you, Divine Feminine. You're getting the Two of Cups. I had to make sure because I didn't know if that was the third cup, but it is a lotus flower, and Resurrection. And it says, reconsider a project or recall a person from the past to resurrect an idea. This is very interesting because this is literally telling you to recall a person from the past, to resurrect an idea. So this can mean, some of you I know instantly jumped on like, oh, I'm going to, resurrect a relationship with my past connection. Maybe. But I'm going to tell you, the messages are rarely like that. It would be great if the messages were usually like that. I would have a lot of happy customers every day. But the messages are not usually like, yay, the person from your past that this whole reading just told you to release is going to come back. No. This says to recall. Do you know what a recall is? If you haven't ever had a car and they recall the car so they can fix it so it doesn't kill you. Recall a person from the past. So there's a person from the past you're holding on to. Recall that person, okay? And this says resurrect an idea. What does that mean? That means to rebirth, to change something, for it to die, something to end, and a new version to take its place. So you take your car, it's recalled so it doesn't kill you. You take your car to the shop, they replace it, it comes out, it is like it was, but entirely new, and now it can't kill you. Okay. So there's that. Because remember, your message for today was this Queen of Wands energy with generosity. It was telling you you can afford to be generous with the gift of your time and attention. So, and that really for me, is if you're not being generous with your time and attention to yourself, you shouldn't be trying to have any other relationships, because you need to have that time and attention for yourself first. So there is a person from the past that you need to recall them. You need to get them off the road, send them to the shop to get fixed, and resurrect your idea about them. Change your mind about that connection, and change your mind about your ability to have a love in your life. If you have given up on it, if you have decided that's not for me, or you can't clearly find a path, or you can't see a way to love, I want you to recall that idea and resurrect the idea of love. So that's your theme for the week, Divine Feminine. And now let's do masculine energy. You are getting the protection message from Coyote Spirit. Trust in divine detours. So this is the wolf that's going to help you, or the coyote rather, that's going to help you with rebuilding, being able to bring that offer into the feminine energy, an offer of love. Sometimes a goal is so enticing and alluring that you lose your footing in the pursuit. You begin to fixate on capturing this prize, whether it be an opportunity you have always wanted, a relationship with that elusive someone, or the promise of that big break. Coyote Spirit warns you that this trickster energy seducing you now will yield nothing but disappointment and unnecessary heartache if you let yourself be fooled. Great Spirit wants the best for you. So when your plans go topsy-turvy, know that Coyote Spirit is present to protect and bless you. Listen to her gentle warning not to take the world too seriously or become too attached to the form and timing of your desire. Something better is beckoning. If you learn your lessons and lighten your heart, it will not be long before you see that crooked though the path may have been, you were on the right one all along. All right, Divine Masculine. So trust that all the detours that you've been on have brought you to this moment and this time, and you are on the right path, heading towards this fulfillment of being able to express your love for the Divine Feminine. Your release energy you are getting is the mutable moon. Nothing is yet set in stone. Interesting that you both got like a moon phase, like an unusual moon phase. Mutable is all about change, shape-shifting even. And you got Coyote Spirit, who's a shapeshifter. That something is still developing. This card indicates that something is indeed changing and there's room for maneuver. So take it as a sign that the situation you're asking about is far from finalized. If you're not happy with the current state of play, that's marvelous. It means you can still change the course of the outcome. However, there is also a sense that the situation could perhaps be a little unstable. For some, this is great news because you can still influence it. Others will struggle with the uncertainty, but should stay with it a little longer. Either way, nothing is yet set in stone. And to attune to the moon, you will say, I know that the best will unfold for me. The additional meanings for this card are you're meandering towards your goal, and that's okay. Staying adaptable is the key to success for you now. Make sure you're not being led astray. Have you become distracted? Time to focus. Stay with it, whatever it means to you. In astrology, there are three so-called quadruplicities: cardinal, fixed, and mutable. The mutable signs are Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, and Pisces. And when the moon is in one of these signs, you know there's going to be more flexibility in a situation. Anytime you pull this card, it suggests there's the opportunity to keep visualizing and affirming what you want, as there's still room for change. So think about what you want and enjoy the daydream. I love that. And here is your rebuilding energy. Priestess, How are you being called to step up and lead divine masculine? I think we all know. $46. The priestess is a teacher dedicated to service, freedom, and leadership. You don't need to have it all together to lead. In fact, it helps if you don't. No one wants a perfect angel who hasn't made any mistakes. Let your life be your message. Don't underestimate the power of sharing your story. It's by hearing someone else's journey that we feel less alone. We realize that we're actually in this thing called life together. The difference between a follower and a leader is that a leader has the courage to go first. In stepping out, they shine a light on the path for others to venture forward, too. Don't fret too much about trying to work out who is your tribe. Don't get stuck in age, income, hobbies, or occupation. The best way to discover your tribe is to look in the mirror. If you feel called to lead, chances are it is because at some point in your life you longed for someone to lead you. Your tribe are longing for exactly the same thing as you were and are and might only be one step behind you. Hell, they may even be right alongside you. You don't need anyone's permission, just the courage to stand up. Embrace your struggles, the peaks, the troughs. You don't need to know the way. Just believe that there might be a different one. Your tribe is waiting for you. Step forward so they can find you. How are you being called to step up and lead? How can you be the leader you wish you had? I like that. And here's what you need to work on, divine masculine. Interesting. The Four of Pentacles and this nature card, which says, go out in nature as much as you can, for its pure creativity can teach you everything you need to know. And you are getting, that was what would help you stabilize, actually, was the Four of Pentacles. And look, it's somebody that's like in a tent out in nature. So there's a call here for both the feminine and masculine to spend some time in nature. Let it teach you, let it help you get some clarity about what will really make you happy in terms of manifesting. And when you're manifesting, let it be less about your base motives of the ego and more about the spiritual motives, the deeper motives you have for connection to others. When I write down my priorities, I try to keep my priorities large enough, encompassing enough that I can hit them with what I'm doing through the day. So for instance, my priorities are, yesterday I wrote down, were prosperity consciousness, wellness, connection, heart-centered communication, and creativity. And it's that kind of a seeking a manifestation of those feelings rather than the materials you think are going to give you those feelings, because that's the mistake we make. We want those feelings. What do we want? What do we want? Prosperity conscious. When do we want it? Now. Okay. We want wellness. We want connection. We want heart-centered communication. We want creativity. Well, in this moment right now, I am really aware of those things. This is my work and it's valuable work. And so this is contributing to my prosperity consciousness. This is helping others and myself with our mental and spiritual wellness, right? It is connection. It is heart-centered communication. And it's inherently creative because I'm going with the flow and helping to solve problems and create solutions. So with this one activity from my day, which is a truly meaningful and joyful activity for me, I've hit all 5 of my priorities today. Now, in the past, I didn't look at my life like that. I looked at the bottom section of my, I keep looking over here because I'm looking at my schedule. I kept focused on the bottom section, on the to-do part of my schedule, rather than on the priorities, and then at the end of the day, I would look at the to-do list and I would see, oh, I left yesterday, for instance. Yesterday, I checked 2 items off of my list, and actually I should have checked 3 because I actually did the first one too. but I didn't give myself credit for it because it wasn't exactly the way that I should have done it. See how rigid and controlling that demon is I have? There was only one thing I didn't do. In truth, it is something I very much would like to take care of today. And I circled it in the hopes that I would. But in the past, I would have focused on the thing I did not do. And I would have felt disappointed in myself and annoyed and been focused on, why do you do that? Why don't you, improve your situation more? Why do you not, instead of being like, wow, everything I engaged in yesterday, I hit my top 5 blood priorities. Even if I did one thing, that one thing hit every single one of the priorities I have in my life. Right? Hang on. I don't know why everything is falling down right now, but it is falling down. Okay. Let us continue. So we are now doing the final cards for the union. These are the things that you share together, masculine and feminine energy both, and these are your messages directly from the divine. In regards to that, the first card that is coming up for you is Whale Spirit, and it is Trust the Great Mystery. The protection message, you got 3 protection messages today, so there's definitely some resistance going on there. Certainty is not offered right now. You are being asked to trust the process of co-creation. Whale Spirit reminds you that your primary reality is not that of the material world, but that of the realm of spirit. Whoa! Okay. 2 things. Number 1, we started off this entire reading today with the fact that divine feminine's general energy is focused on the reality, uncomfortably focused on the 3D, saying to herself, wake up and face reality. Apply for day jobs. What are you doing, you crazy bitch, right? So there's that, right? There is your Whale Spirit reminds you that your primary reality is not that of the material world, but that of the realm of spirit, from which the essence of your dreams and desires take shape before arriving as a specific form. The other reason why that sticks out to me is that I am going to be with Sin from Gray Strega. We're going to be in Vegas at the end of February, and I'm looking for a couple of places where we might stop and visit while we're there, and maybe do an event for our TikTok live. We might be like at a location, and the place I am contacting today is called like the realms, like the realms of spirit or something. It was like the same exact wording of that. Or it's called like spirit realms or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but that's crazy. You must trust absolutely that what will come will be for the highest good. Stay in your present moment awareness and allow the hidden realms to hold your intentions safely until it is time for them to manifest in the realm of form. Let go, for you will not be left behind. Some things take longer than others to arrive. And I love that because Divine Masculine, you kind of got that let go card with nature. And this is just kind of like surrender to the cycles of nature. Let go, both of you. All right. Your release energy is balance, spirituality, and practicality. Rude. Right after you tell us to not look at reality too much. Now you're going to tell us to balance spirituality and practicality. I can't with you, universe. What is your deal? All right. We've got the full moon in Pisces. Have you been so head in the clouds that you've lost touch with reality? You see what I'm saying? Look at this contradiction. If so, take this card as a sign that you need to pay attention and make concerted effort to move toward your goals. The more practical steps you can take, the better. It is time to find an inner balance between your responsibilities and your dreams. Meditate on your question, and the solutions to your issue may now come through very clearly. If you're in a tricky situation because you've been acting the martyr, this card will be a message from the cosmos to drop the act for everyone's sake. Meditate every day and see what comes to you. Answers will come. And that's actually the main message from this card I'm taking. It says you're in a super romantic but not super realistic state. Follow your intuition. It won't let you down. At worst, this card could herald the end of a dream. The person you're inquiring about is a soulmate, and avoid substance abuse. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, so the full moon in Pisces symbolically marks endings. When the moon is full in Pisces, or whenever you pull this card, it's a time to dive deep into your emotions. Practicality is at odds with the numinous Piscean energies that have no borders. So feel your way now. Psychic ability is heightened when the full moon is in Pisces, and soulmates now connect. It is also a time to send out your dreams to the universe, releasing your fears. So the strongest messages for me are meditate every day and see what comes to you. The answers that you need will come. And send out your dreams to the universe, releasing your fears. Those are actually more, because this last spirit animal was supposed to help you to be more relaxed about what is unknown. And it said, it says, let go, for you will not be left behind. So it's really, I really think that the meditation aspect of these messages are coming through the strongest for me right now, is that spirit is going to guide you, but you have to meditate to be inspired. You're getting this, of course. Pillar of light, your vibration is rising and you are the oracle. And this is air energy. Let's see. What's it called? Pillar of light. Two. You are heaven and earth in perfect expression, a conduit for the light of the heavens to the earth. You are the rainbow bridge. Take time to meditate. Imagine yourself as a pillar of light connecting the light of the heavens above with the earth. As the light shines through each of your chakras, you activate the rainbow bridge that many ancient scriptures speak about, raising your vibration and the vibration of the planet, linking the higher realms of the cosmos, guides, angels, and spirit with the ancient wisdom keepers and beings of planet Earth. They dance together through you. They sing together through you. Without your body, voice, and creations, neither can be expressed. For too long, we've been taught that God is outside of us, giving away our power to angels and spirit guides. But without you, they do not have a voice. You are the oracle. Do not look for guidance outside, for you hold all the wisdom of the entire universe in the portal of your heart, in every cell of your body. Do not see the angels and guides as above you, for without you, they have no way of communicating. You are the oracle. You are the rainbow bridge. You are the pillar of light. I allow the light of the heavens and the light of the earth to flow through me now. I activate the codes of remembering within my cells and chakras. I activate my system as a rainbow bridge between heaven and earth. Well, that's a pretty poignant message. And finally, here's your theme. This card of the moon, which I think this might be the first time I've ever gotten the moon from the Thoth Tarot, and delay. Confront the natural tendency to delay the finishing of a creative endeavor. So this is for you this week to go within and seek the natural tendency to delay the finishing of this creative endeavor. Seek through meditation to be shown the answers deep within your psyche that are keeping you attached to something that is naturally delaying the finishing of what you have desired to create with spirit. There is something within that is causing the delay. And I'm so thankful for this reading, because even though the messages were not the messages that I expected or wanted, this is the answer right? We can afford to be generous with our gift of time and attention. We are powerful, potent creators of abundance, prosperity, all of that. This is all available to us. So if this is true, and it is, we were told it is, then we must seek the reasons why this is not our current experience, if that is the case. If there is something that is delayed, we must go deeply into the subconscious through the meditation and allow those answers to come to the surface. And then we have to accept the answer and allow the solution. Beautiful release and rebuild spread to end with the release card. The moon, the full moon release. Gorgeous energy. Also, there's so much phallic stuff going on in the Thoth Tarot. My God, calm down. All right. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you enjoyed the messages from the reading and that you got a lot out of it. I will be back tomorrow for members on pearlsprayers.com. Click the link below to become a member. There are two ways. You can either join for $3.33 a month, or you can purchase the Spiritual Nourishment course for $55 and receive the whole year for free. And then have a self-directed course about tuning in to your intuition, beginning with becoming the Empress. And if you're interested in what that entails, you can click the link to the video below, which describes it. And you can also experience my music there, which I would strongly encourage you to do. I'm going to be doing some shows in the Los Angeles area, if you didn't catch that in the beginning of the video. And you can stay up to date with all that information on pearlsprayers.com. I will see everybody on Sunday, 1 p.m. Pacific Coast time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on TikTok for an hour live to answer questions with Sin from Grace Strega. And then we will move over to Instagram at 2 and 5 p.m. to continue the divine tune-in and to provide 2 choose your own personal readings for those that participate. Thank you so very much. I shall see you on Sunday. Have a glorious weekend if I don't see you, and take care.